What's going on, everyone? This is Matt Day, COO of BizCentral USA. Just wanted to make a quick video and explain the difference between the three types of women-owned business certifications that we see the most for our clients, and how do I decide on which one to pursue, whether that be one of them, two, or maybe all three potentially. So today we're going to be going over each certification dissected, and then kind of putting it all together and helping you guys make a decision on which one's going to be best for you. So today we're talking about the WBE at the state level, the WBENC, which is the national certification, and then the WOSB. We're going to isolate those and make sure everybody has a good idea of what the requirements are and why I should get one. So the first one we're talking about, this Women Business Enterprise, the WBE. This is our state level certification. We can see the requirements on the screen. Essentially, you want to have 51% ownership by one or more women business owners. And you also have to demonstrate that the female business owners are operating and controlling the entire business. Another requirement is that the women-owned business owners have to have the highest position or title in the entire entity to prove that they have a majority ownership and they're controlling the flow of the business. And then we do have a U.S. citizenship requirement or a legal resident alien for the woman owner, so they must be U.S. citizens or a legal resident. Now, these contracts for WBEs are primarily offered at the state and city level. So if I'm in North Carolina, for example, and I want to be a women-owned business entity, I have to get WBE certified in the state that my business is registered in. So in this case, North Carolina. However, what you'll run into is that if there's a WBE contract offered in Virginia, you will not have access to that. You'll only have access to WBE contracts that are being offered in your state that your business is registered. So the pros would be I can economize and improve my network close to home. Cons would be that geographically I'm limited to just the state that I'm certified in and registered in. Okay, so after that we've got the WBENC, which stands for Women Business Enterprise National Council. You'll notice that the WBE in the first slide was Women Business Enterprise, and as is the case in this one, so think of this one as a national WBE. Same requirements, U.S. citizen, green card holders are allowed. There is no personal net worth. Sometimes these certifications will have a cap on the amount of personal net worth that the owner has, but this is not one of those certifications. And then obviously the female business owner, much like the last certification, has to have the highest ranking position in the company and prove that they are in fact owning and operating the entire business and that they're qualified to do so. Benefits of the WBENC, with the WBE, the first certification we talked about at the state level, we were geographically limited to the state my business is registered in. The WBENC is a national council, so you'll be able to bid on women-owned business enterprise contracts all over the country. So obviously we've increased our geographic reach. It's mainly for corporate contracts as well. So, you know, sometimes at the WBE you'll have things like state, maybe the Chamber of Commerce, for example, is offering a North Carolina business a WBE contract, right? This certification won't necessarily get you access to that. This would be more for corporations. Maybe Amazon is looking for a woman-owned business as a distributor, right? Maybe a investment business is looking for someone to come in and do a seminar, and it has to be a women-owned business. Things of that nature provided for corporations specifically. Google would be another example as well. So pros and cons. Pros, you get an increased geographic reach. Cons, I don't really know that there are any. This is just more of an obstacle almost. The WBENC has an application fee that pays directly to the WBENC certifying board. The WBE at the state level doesn't have a filing fee, but the WBENC does. And this fee is a sliding scale that's a product of the gross receipts of your business for the last 2 years. So if I'm a startup company, I'm probably going to be paying between $350 to $400 as an application fee because I don't have any gross receipts. Or if I'm a business that's been around for 10 years and my gross receipts are at 1.5 million or more, I may be paying closer to $750 to $900 in an application fee. So again, not really a con, more of kind of just a contingency to have it processed, but just something you guys should be aware of. The final certification we're talking about today is the woman-owned small business. Very, very similar in terms of requirement, except for this first one I think is very important, is we require previous approval by a third-party agency. So I can't just go to the WOSB as my first women-owned small business certification without being recognized by either a WBE at the state level or WBENC first. So I have to have that third-party recognition before I apply, which is not a requirement that was for the other two. This is just for the WOSB. But as we see below, 51% owned and operated by a female business owner, U.S. citizens and green card holders are allowed, and there's no cap on adjusted net worth. So very, very similar in terms of ownership requirements, but we do have this final important contingency where we have to be recognized before we apply by a third party. So now that we've isolated those three, it's important to go through the pros and cons, but also how do I know which one I'm supposed to get, right? This can be a product of desired geographic reach, desired clientele, who I want to work with, and then also a product of what service codes I'm providing. That's a huge part of it. Certain markets are better for certain service codes, so how do I know which ones those are? So we have our state level, our WBENC, and our WOSB here listed with some pros and cons, right? So all of these certifications are going to get you access to set aside contracts, grants, and specialized loans for women-owned businesses. But for the state level WBE, on top of that, we're looking at local network and economizing close to home. I think this is an understated privilege. Granted, not every state or city has a WBE program, but if they do, it's a really good opportunity to get to know other women-owned businesses and pick their brains and work together and bid on contracts together and show what you can do and create that marketing and presence organically. Really, the only con of the state level WBE is the geographic reach. You get limited to either the city or the state that you get certified for. But for those of you who are scaling and growing horizontally first, that might not be such a bad thing to start small before you hop over and start, tackling contracts at the national level. For the WBENC, as we mentioned before, increased geographic reach to national certification, and it's going to let you bid on corporate level contracts. Some good businesses and service codes to have would be banking, retail, investment, entertainment, and travel. Really, the only cons, I don't really have any cons other than the application fees, if you wanted to label that as a con, but a lot of these agencies are going to have that, especially third-party entities. So really a lot of good things going on with the WBENC, as long as your service code, your NAICS codes are applicable to something that corporations can use for services. And then finally, we have the WOSB, which the pros, geographic reach, allows you to bid on federal contracts. This is going to be really good for real estate, project coordinators, project management, cleaning, trucking, construction, things that the federal government services-wise can use to benefit their projects. Cons, I think the best thing is the worst thing, is the turnaround time. Sometimes for our clients, at least, we've seen about 150 days and even more for them to make a decision on your application. So you're going to be waiting a long time to get access. So those are kind of the pros and cons. How do I choose? I think to summarize how you choose, you look at your service type and you see what types of services would be used by the state, which ones would be used by corporations, and which are used by federal government contracts and projects, and then make your decision based on that. Is this something that the federal government can use? If so, then do the WOSB. Is my service applicable to WBENC, organizational leadership, that kinds of things for corporations? Or is this something where I kind of want like a hybrid close to home, where certain corporations and certain government entities will be offered at the state level? Does my service apply to that, and I would get my WBE? The final thing I would go for would be, there's a recommendation I have, which is the WBENC and WOSB combo application. We know that for the WOSB, we're going to have to get a third-party certification anyways. So what they've done is they've combined the WBENC and the WOSB in the same application. So you're saving time because you're only doing one application, submitting your documents once. You're saving money because you're applying the same application fee, but you're getting two certifications with it. And we mentioned fulfilling your third-party requirements. Since you're applying for both at the same time, your WBENC will go first. Once you're certified, it will automatically trigger the WOSB to have a decision made on it as well. Quicker turnaround time. I think that's the biggest one. The WBENC process is in about 90 days. Remember, we said the WOSB process is in about 150 days sometimes. So you're saving some time there and you can start bidding on contracts sooner. And I think the biggest, thing in terms of market would be with the WBENC, I get a corporate contract, and with the WOSB, I get access to federal. So why not get a certification that allows me to get both simultaneously? So those are basically all the women-owned business certifications that we deal with very, very consistently at BizCentral USA. If you guys have any questions, you can always reach out to us. Again, my name is Matt Day. I'm the COO of the company. And there's my contact information on the screen if you'd like to schedule a consultation or if you had a quick clarifying question. What we do is we actually look at all the documents for all of our clients and give them advice on, let's make sure we're documenting this properly, or the application is going to ask you this. And we give a lot of guidance, and we even go as far as to submit the application for you on your behalf and help you out with that. So either way, hopefully you liked the video. Hopefully this was beneficial to some of you. And if you need any additional help, my email and phone number are on the screen. You can contact us anytime. We'd be more than happy to field your questions and help you out. So stay tuned for more content coming soon. Thanks for watching the video. And yeah, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content. Thanks. Have a good day.